Hey everyone, FinanceFeeds is here at the Dealers Connect 5.0 event in Limassol, Cyprus by Alexis Droussiotis, who is head of Match Trader Platform. Alexis, thanks for joining me again for a
Thanks
quick
for having
interview.
me.
Always lovely to speak with you.
Likewise.
So over the course of this year, you and I, we've discussed prop trading before.
Yes.
As the year wraps up, there's been lots of different developments in that space, and obviously with your clients and partners as well. I was going to ask you, at this point in the year, as we wind down, why should brokers consider expanding into prop trading, knowing everything we know now today at the end of 2024?
Okay. So first, brokers for me are the best candidates. Why? Because they know their market and they understand the risks. That's the first point. Now, if we categorize it in regards to technology, they have everything they need in place. They have the trading platform, they have the CRM, they have partnerships with the liquidity providers and PSPs. So they have covered the element of the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second part is they cover the human element. So they have their legal departments when regulation comes into place. They have their marketing, their support departments. And what's also important is they have a database of leads, which may be dead. They don't want to trade in FX, but you could move them into prop trading. And that's very important. And FX is saturated. Brokers are trying to find a segment of the market that they can grow and move into. So that's where prop comes into place. There's such a large segment of the market, hundreds of thousands of traders, prop traders to the taking. So they need to move, because if they don't, someone else will.
Wouldn't you say that the prop trading space is also getting oversaturated? I mean, that's some of the impressions that I got earlier this year. There's obviously a lot of firms that, let's say, went underwater for whatever reason, right? They couldn't kind of manage providing those kind of services, whereas other firms have excelled in this space. I guess, does starting a new prop firm still make sense today? And I guess how... you mentioned that brokers are prime candidates because they have the technology, but what about other companies that just want to specifically do prop trading from scratch?
Okay.
And, what is the technological impact on such firms, and what are the key things that they need to consider from a technological standpoint?
Okay. I'll try and categorize it into a few categories.
Sure.
Now, the first part is, again, technology. We have technological maturity. What does that mean? So if we go back 1-2 years, we can see that prop firms were using an FX trading platform. They didn't have a dedicated prop setup. They had to use a broker. The broker had access to their accounts. And, through this time, we've seen that trading platforms and technology providers have created tools. They've listened to the prop firms. They've created what they actually wanted, a dedicated actual setup. And something else which is, I would say, good is that trading platforms created an ecosystem. So prop CRMs now are integrated into multiple trading platforms. So I would say in this year that if you want to do a prop firm, there's more maturity in the technology. There's more variations that you can actually mix and match. Mm-hmm. Now, another thing was that many players waited out the game. Mm-hmm. So they were thinking, is it a hype? Should I move into it? I've been talking to many larger firms where they're realizing that, this is a segment of the market I could be making money out of. Mm-hmm. So they waited out the game. So there's still such a big segment of the market to take.
Sure.
And going back to your question, why is it a good time now? If you learn from the mistakes of the past year, because we've seen dozens of prop firms open up and then close overnight. Now, if we understand the mistakes that were actually done, and the prop firms that open now don't follow and they learn from their mistakes, then you won't fail the same way they did.
Sure.
Now, in regards to technology, I won't bore you because we know them. Technology provider, a trading platform should be able to give you, let's say, the technological edge. Trading platform, CRM, these are covered. We know this.
You and I talked about this earlier this summer in your office. You went into a very elaborate explanation on this.
Yes.
We invite everyone to go to our YouTube channel on FinanceFeeds and check out Alexis' discussion.
But something that isn't discussed is that technology providers, because they have so many prop firms under them, so we have, let's say, 70 prop firms, we know the pass ratios that are correct, the accurate ones where you're actually profiting and it's also fair for the trader. So this experience should be given from the technology provider down to the prop firms, because we want firms, prop firms, FX, anyone that works with us, we want longevity with them. So technology provider shouldn't only provide you with technology, they should be able to provide you their data also. That's very important.
I guess to wrap things up, what are you expecting for 2025? How do you think the market is going to expand, or what kind we may foresee for 2025? Knowing everything that we saw, like you said, in 2024, in years past, do we continue to see the boom in prop? And kind of, if we take a step back and talk about traditional trading, is there anything on the technological side that you think is going to be important, perhaps something to do with artificial intelligence or machine learning or something like that?
I don't think much will change. I don't see regulation coming into place in 25, maybe 26. But if we're gonna, move into the future, and many people ask us, why should we start at prop firms, and what should we take into consideration, to have longevity? And the first thing I tell them is learn from the mistakes that previous prop firms actually did. That's the first thing. So don't fall in the same trap they did. And if we look at the mistakes they actually did, the first one was the pass ratio. There's two mistakes there. Or you have too many people passing into the funded phase. That means you have too many withdrawals and you bleed out the company. The second is you have them too tight, no one can actually pass, and then they, your prop traders, they move somewhere else where the rules are actually better. And another interesting thing is when price wars started happening, when more prop firms came in and they were adding 50% discount on their challenges, they didn't take into consideration that, if I'm getting 50% less because I'm discounting and I don't change my rules and I'm paying out the same, I'm bleeding out the company. So there's many things to take into consideration. And one of them was the redundancy. I think we talked about this before.
Correct.
Is they had a technology provider that shut them down overnight. Now, and people now realize, prop firms realize, prop CRMs realize that, you have to integrate into multiple systems to provide this redundancy. So what happened, doesn't happen again.
Great. Well, Alexis, it's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to get your insights.
Likewise.
Year's coming to an end. I want to wish you and your family happy holidays, and
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. All the best to you as well.
Thank you. Cheers.